Today on Hammered Halo Projects, we'll be building these simple but sturdy and stackable sawhorses. What we need for this project is 6 2x4s, 3-inch deck screws, a tape measure, a speed square, a cordless drill, and a circular saw. I want these sawhorses to be 36 inches long. Using my speed square as a guide helps ensure a straight and accurate cut. I'm making 2 sawhorses, so I'll be cutting 6 pieces at 36 inches long. These will make up the top I-beam portion of the sawhorses. Now I'll move on to cutting the 4 angled legs. Each of these will also be cut at 36 inches long. However, I have adjusted my saw to cut at a 15-degree angle. Again, using my speed square as a straight edge. Both sides of the legs will need to be cut at 15-degree angles to ensure the sawhorses sit level. Now that the legs and top I-beam pieces have been cut, we can circle back like Jen Psaki and start assembly. To assemble the I-beam, first I'll need to find the center of the 2x4s. 2x4s are 3.5 inches wide, so center will be exactly 1 3/4 inches. Marking both ends and then using a level as a straight edge to draw my center line, repeating this process on 4 of the 6 I-beam pieces. With the 2 top sawhorse plates laid out, I can now mark 4 evenly spaced out drilling points. Using a countersink bit, it's important to countersink these top holes about 3/4 of an inch into the 2x4. We all know sometimes the depth of our saw blade isn't set properly, and the last thing you want to do is hit the head of a screw. Flip the 2 unmarked I-beam pieces on edge and mark the center. Now simply line up the lines and screw it together. Flip them over and mount the bottom plate on each one. When done, you'll have 2 36-inch I-beams. I always like to mark the top of the I-beams so I don't mix up the deeper countersunk screws on the top plate. My original plan for these tripod sawhorses was to have a front leg mounted to the end of the I-beam. After rethinking this, structurally I think it would be much stronger by mounting it to the side of the I-beam. So to modify this, I'm just removing 3.5 inches off the bottom plate on both I-beams. Flipping one of the I-beams on edge and pressing one of the leg pieces into the edge like this, I can then mark and pre-drill holes lining up with the bottom 2x4 and the center 2x4. Because I'm so close to the edge of the 2x4, it's best to pre-drill to prevent the wood from cracking. Now I can screw the first leg to the I-beam. Flip it over and repeat. Now if you haven't caught this yet, I screwed up the angle on my leg, but it's not a big deal. I'll just cut it again where it sits. Yeah, that's a little better. And repeat the same process on the second sawhorse. In my previous video, I built this folding benchtop workspace. If you'd like to see that video, I will put a link at the top here. And it just so happens that this worktop is exactly the same height as our sawhorses. So finding the front leg height will be relatively easy. By simply resting the sawhorses on the benchtop, I can see that it's perfectly level, so all I need to do is measure to the floor to determine the length of the front leg. Again, using the speed square as my guide, I can now cut the final 2 legs to length. With the front leg in place, you can see that it extends past the top plate of the I-beam. I don't really like that, so I'm going to remove the part of the leg that extrudes past the top plate. By marking the line down the edge of the leg, I can then remove this section to make it flush. By setting the depth on the circular saw, I can easily remove this section by making multiple cuts within that section. And here I'm just removing the pieces with a hammer and chisel. Now all I have to do is glue it up and use a framing square to keep it straight while installing the screws. An important note to note here is that in order to stack these sawhorses, the front leg on each sawhorse must be on the opposite side of one another. Also at this point, I'm going to be removing this section here with a jigsaw. You could also do this with a handsaw. By removing this piece on the top plate will allow the leg on the top sawhorse to slide nicely into it, making for a better stacking fit. With the cutoffs that were left over, I'm adding 2 braces on the back support legs, mounting them roughly 16 inches off the floor, and at this point, I might as well start using the sawhorse for what it's meant for. Just being able to clamp onto the I-beam is another reason why I love this design. When you mount these braces, make sure to mount the brace on the bottom sawhorse on the inside of the legs and the brace on the outside of the legs on the upper horse. If you don't do this, you won't be able to stack them. And for me, it's all about utilizing my workspace efficiently. You could easily leave them raw like this, but for me, these are gonna get a lot of outside use. So I'm gonna go ahead, sand them down a bit and get a primer on them and get ready to put a finish coat of exterior waterproof coating. As always guys, thank you so much for letting me take a few minutes out of your busy day. If you're interested in what we're working on next, follow us on Instagram. That's where we post all our upcoming projects. And if you enjoyed the video, you can always help us out by simply clicking the like button and leaving a comment below. Oh, we'd also love to notify you every time we upload a new DIY video. So all you gotta do is hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell for notifications. Now, if you want to add these awesome sturdy sawhorses to your own workspace, we do have detailed plans, drawings, and a complete cut list of this project on our website. So I'll put a link in the description below if you want to get your hands on those. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and until we meet again, get those tools ready.